To know your enemy is to know how to kill it, and for none is this taken more seriously, or quite as literally, as the combat biologists of the faithful. These scientific warriors of New Antioch's techno-laboratories hail from the specimen division. Joining warbands in battle, their task is to capture or collect specimens and samples for dissection, study, documentation, and the eventual creation of cures or countermeasures. The combat biologists will attempt, where they can, to capture demons and war beasts of hell alive for vivisection. Keeping their captives alive throughout this surgical dissection allows the combat biologist to study the living material of demons and creatures such as werewolves to better understand their weaknesses. It was the combat biologists who captured and catalogued samples of the metamorphic vector used by the Temple of Metamorphosis in their rites of molting and rituals of transcendence. To study such material may one day yield the discoveries of effective countermeasures or ways to disrupt the vector's mutagenic properties in order to better kill the ever-changing disciples of the Temple of Metamorphosis. As for the horrors of the Black Grail, though many specimens of this virulent plague have been studied, any hope for a cure to Beelzebub's foul creation have so far proved fruitless. Unfortunately for the faithful, the hopes of a cure to Beelzebub's Black Grail not only elude the combat biologists, but this frustration is shared by their contemporaries in the Iron Sultanate as well. So far, neither the House of Wisdom nor New Antioch's techno-laboratories have been able to make any significant strides in the battle of wits with the Lord of Flies. This is further compounded by the fact that there is no one singular strain of the Black Grail. Since the Black Grail was released in 1346, countless faithful have fallen to the worst plague known to creation. This virulent demonic plague seems to possess its own malevolent sentience and spreads to any living matter, torturing it with the dark blessings of Beelzebub and driving the empty husks of their disease-riddled bodies onward to enact his will. New Antioch, and in fact all the faithful nations, live in constant fear of the rise of a new Grail hegemon. Each hegemon, of which there have only been two, and thankfully both were slain, is a vessel of its own unique strand of the Black Grail. With the rise of the hegemon, the power and virulence of the Grail increases greatly, making the servants of the Grail nearly impossible to combat without the intervention of saints or paladins. This has proved to be a dangerous endeavour, and has incurred grave costs to the faithful. Mighty Engalir, the Sword of Heaven, slew one of the great hegemons, ending its strain of the Black Grail before it could take hold. But his blessed body was cast down and he was killed in the effort, however. The other hegemon, Yersinia Rex, rose to prominence during the Corpse Wars. This foul and insidious variant of the Black Grail could even raise the dead in service to Beelzebub. Where other strains of the Black Grail were only able to take root in the living, this invasive strain would infest mass grave sites, field hospitals, and the dead that littered the Levant, to rise the bodies up once more and desecrate even the blessed peace of death. Thankfully, after 66 years of warfare, the combined forces of the faithful, led by the living Saint Joan of Arc, finally slew Yersinia and brought an end to the hegemon in 1429, driving the Grail from mainland Europe and claiming victory in the Corpse Wars. Thus, under the fear of the rise of a new hegemon and the terrors it would unleash, assailed by the mutant mongrels who follow the path of the beast, threatened by Tartarus and its creations such as werewolves and artillery witches, and in dire need of a counter to the metamorphic vector of the Temple of Metamorphosis, the combat biologists have never been in greater demand. Throughout the techno-laboratories of New Antioch, these warrior scientists work tirelessly to capture and catalogue all manner of strange demonic creatures and creations. It is hoped that whether from the inquiring minds of the Specimen Division or the wisdom and esoteric knowledge of the Iron Sultanates, that one day an effective cure for the Black Grail may be found, or the discovery of an exploitable weakness in Hell's demonic forces to aid the faithful, with saints running the risk of corruption and being warped into the war altars known as desecrated saints, and the Mendelist Order unable to create more paladins and struggling to maintain their equipment, a breakthrough for the faithful is needed now more than ever. And there we have it. What little lore on these holy scientists that I was able to piece together from brief snippets of lore. Are you excited to learn more about the Combat Biologists and discover their lore and rules when the models are released? Let me know in the comments below, and if you'd like to learn more about the Temple of Metamorphosis, click the video link to your left. Or, if you'd like to continue your journey into the lore of Trench Crusade with a different video, click the link to your right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon.